laugh at me. I hear you laughing. Hi guys, my name is Nikki, aka the Dragon Queen, and today I'm here with a writing video. Now, I am currently working on 3 separate novels. The first one that I'm working on is called Death's Hellhound. That is featuring a main character who is named Nessie. She is a fairy who becomes Death. Death's Hellhound focuses on her doing her job as Death and running into a creature that should not exist, and that is a hellhound mixed with a fairy. Now, it is an urban fantasy book that will be more on the humorous side, or that's what I'm aiming for. There's a lot of depth in the book. A lot of things that shouldn't exist do exist, and I'm hoping that with that book it will become a series with multitude of characters that are expounded upon throughout the series. There are enemies in book 1, and then there are enemies in my head that go further through the series, and it's really interesting for me. I've written it, I started writing it 2 or 3 years ago during NaNoWriMo, and I didn't finish it during NaNoWriMo, but I did end up restarting it, and I think I'm on the 4th restart now, because things keep changing in my head, or something will be elaborated upon and I'm like, that doesn't make sense, I need to rewind, I need to start that over. So I do have a couple of short stories featuring Nessie in self-published anthologies on Amazon. I will link those down below if you want to check them out. My very first short story is called When Death Calls, and it is also available by itself on Amazon for, I think it's 99 cents. But it's a short story and it features her. It's the very first short story I ever wrote of Nessie, and I absolutely loved her. I fell in love with the character and the world. So I kept writing short stories and posting them in anthologies, and then I was going to originally make the concept that's now a series, a bunch of short stories in one anthology that was just my work, but it kind of led to novel-length ideas instead. So that's where that stands. The next book I'm working on is called Porcelain Home. This book is one that I wrote for NaNoWriMo last year, and I did succeed and win NaNoWriMo in 2000, or when I say last year, I mean 2016, not 17. I finished it, and it wasn't dark enough. It wasn't horror-y enough. It was originally, it follows a girl named Amber. I believe I changed her name in the second book. She is going by the name Lucy in the series, and she lives in a orphanage. The only difference is this orphanage doesn't actually put the kids up for adoption. They are taught and raised by these 2 women, Elladora and Isadora, who are twins. The children in this school are raised in a Victorian setting, and they are taught how to survive and how to act properly. And they you get, the feel is supposed to be that they are like dolls. In the second rewrite that I'm doing, I'm trying to make it more horror related, so the characters are going through more psychological training, and they're kind of twitchy, kind of paranoid, and kind of murdery. So they're trying to, the people who are at the top of the class get more benefits and more perks, and they stay in good graces with Isadora and Elladora. So I'm making it more a kill or be killed type scenario, and I'm working on that on the second draft. I haven't completely fleshed out where I want this to go, but it's called Porcelain Dolls because it kind of reminds me of what a doll would be like if they were in human form. So the twins treat the girls and the boys as dolls and playthings for their own amusement. So that's where that's coming from. The third book is one that I'm actually working on right this second, and I am writing it I've been working on it for NaNoWriMo of 2017, and I did win NaNoWriMo, but it was nowhere near done. So in 2018, I am working on that one, and that is called Bitter and Briny. Bitter and Briny is a book featuring a modern-day siren who is trying to survive without murdering people, because in the past sirens would find ships that crossed their paths and lure them to their doom and be able to feast for months on end. But it's not as easy anymore because of modern day technology. They're gonna figure out who's murdering people. So instead, she goes to torture and makes them forget that they are being tortured using her siren abilities. She still feeds, she is full off of the emotions from their pain, and then she only tortures people who deserve it. So think Dexter kind of aspect, where he only killed people who were really bad and got away with it from the court system. But it's men or women who are hurting others, whether that's raping or kidnapping or sexually assaulting or physically assaulting or whatever. Those are her targets usually. So it's her life and what happens when one of the targets she goes after ends up getting her caught and how she gets out of it. I'm really enjoying where it's going. It has a romance in it, which I was honestly surprised about because I don't usually write romance, but it worked for the story. And basically she's just a feminist badass, and she wants to just make sure that women feel safe, and she protects them by doing what she can, even though it's probably not the safest job to do, and it's probably not the most heroic thing to do either. So that's pretty interesting. As for my writing schedule, I've never physically published any novels. I am working on these 3 novels, but I've never published anything other than short stories, so I am excited, and 1 novella, but I am excited to get one of these done this year. I am currently participating in the 10-minute novelist group's 365 challenge, which is to write at least 100 words a day. My goal is 250 words a day, which I've hit most days. I've written at least 100 words, maybe not necessarily in this manuscript, but at least 100 words, and it's helping me get through and continue to create. So far I stopped at 50,000 words in NaNoWriMo, and I'm currently at about 54,000 in my manuscript for Bitter and Briny, which is very exciting, so it is moving forward. It's about at the climax for me in the story, but I can definitely see where I can keep it going for probably at least another 50,000 words. But it is motivating me to, like I said, continue to write, but not overdo it, because I burnt myself out when I finished 50,000 words in 3 weeks in November, and then I didn't touch anything for writing until January. And this happened again the year before that, where again I didn't touch anything until I had a reason to. So if you want to check out any of my short stories, please look at the descriptions down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the short stories that I've written. If you would like to be a beta reader for future novels, also let me know down below. I can't guarantee when anything will be done, but I'm working on it as fast as I can. If you are writing anything, I would love to know what you write or what you wrote. If you have anything published, I would love to check it out. I can't guarantee I'll buy it if it's not something I'm interested in, but I would check it out. And today's shout out is going to be Taylor at Bookish Taylor. She is one of my good friends who hosts Empty Shelfie with me. I would love for you to check out her channel. Like it if you like it, subscribe because you love me, and this is the Dragon Queen signing off.